Recording. All right, caffeine saved me.
Yes,
So there's some news going on. Haley dropped out of the race. There's a bunch of fires that are fucking huge, where there's 85% of the cattle in Texas and Oklahoma. Trump is talking shit about Biden. There's rain in some places, it's sunny in other places, and there's like military helicopters flying over Florida or some shit. That's the news. I'm tired as fuck, so we're gonna do a bunch of random stuff.
And there's snow places and it's hot some places, I'm sure.
Yep.
There, done.
Then
That's all
okay.
I gotta talk about.
So there's a bunch
and I have no idea what these videos are, so you're gonna get my
they all are
response.
I think they all are. And I've only like touched the surface on a few. Some of them seem really entertaining. A lot of them are about like, a lot of it's the same like crazy stuff happening in the Bay Area. There's some stuff about AI, some stuff about China,
Oh, yeah.
some
I was
like
reading about the AI thing, how scientists are saying by 2028 it could be taking over.
So that's comforting. There's some other news that anyone all right, so we'll start with a couple lighthearted stories and we'll ramp up as fast as we can.
All right.
The new felony charge for a Tulsa bride.
A Tulsa bride-to-be at the center of a viral social media post is facing a new felony charge. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shay Rossi.
And I'm Sarah Whaley. We told you about Morgan Newby in our Fox 23 investigation, Till Debt Do Us Part.
Newby is accused of planning elaborate weddings, then refusing to pay the bill. She also never showed up to any of the ceremonies.
Only on Fox 23, Weekend Anchor Marion is live in studio tonight with a look at the new felony charge she faces.
And these are the court documents right here.
I wonder if this is like with like Tinder dates, one after the other, plan a wedding for numerous people.
This I could see as a movie.
This is a good
wedding planner too.
I wonder if it's like just her booking weddings without like just telling the story, or if she's actually dating people.
Here, Tulsa police now say what was described.
I don't know. This is just weird.
In that viral social media post was in fact a crime they now have proof for. That is why they're tacking on a second new felony charge against the Tulsa bride-to-be. When it comes to this story now seen nationwide that I still get emails about from victims to this day.
How many victims?
She wanted to say I do, but Tulsa police say when it comes to paying for her weddings that never happened, Morgan Newby continues to say I won't.
I was not about to just back out cold turkey on my childhood best friends.
I would love, I mean, I wouldn't, any of these situations is rough, but I could just imagine if what if everyone's getting married but her, so she has to book something and post it. So everyone thinks something's happening.
Amazing elaborate wedding.
She's mentally ill. Let's face it.
There's something's going on.
There's something wrong with her.
I was not about to just back out cold turkey on my childhood best friends. Amazing elaborate wedding, less than a month too. I was doing all that I could, giving her every kind of opportunity that I could.
Remember her? That's Bailey Money, who owns Bailey Bushelman Photography in Omaha, Nebraska. Bailey posted last summer on Facebook and TikTok about how her friend Morgan Newby planned multiple elaborate weddings for herself. But then when it came time for the ceremonies, she never showed. And when it came time to pay Bailey...
Wait.
It wasn't the photographer that planned the weddings. It was her friend.
She planned multiple weddings?
Yes.
For herself?
Like, I'm marrying multiple guys.
For herself. But then when it came time for the ceremonies, she never showed. And when it came time to pay Bailey and other vendors for services that Newby even signed contracts for, Newby is nowhere to be found.
I like to give benefit of the doubt. I like to see the good in people. I don't do that anymore, obviously.
Now, according to these new court filings, Tulsa police say Bailey herself is the victim of a crime. Court records state when Bailey came to Tulsa to take Newby's engagement photos last summer at Woodward Park in Midtown and was never paid, that was a crime committed in Tulsa city limits that they can and are going after Newby for. Court filings state for the Tulsa trip, Bailey was promised $1,200 for her services that she was never paid for. Last month, Tulsa Financial Crimes Lieutenant Andrew Whedon told me, after repeated attempts to get payment, only to be followed by excuse after excuse, that's when it rises to a criminal case.
Sometimes there's misunderstandings. In this case, there was basically a time period of about 3 to 4 months where there was attempts to make the payment, and all the attempts basically didn't go through.
Newbie was already facing one count of obtaining services or items over $1,000 through false pretenses or a con game for refusing to pay a Tulsa printing company for custom wedding invitations. That's a felony. Now Newbie faces a second felony count of obtaining items through false pretenses or con game for what police say she did to Bailey. Each charge carries with it a maximum of 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine.
I'm sure she can find a nice wife
What?
for herself.
What is her motive?
I don't know, because you don't part about the husband. Is it like she's gonna get married and then he just runs? No,
Or she just runs like, I'm not getting married now.
I bet it's like one of those like law of attraction. I'm gonna make a wedding. I'm going to imagine the husband, and I'm going to manifest having a husband at this date. Okay, here are the bills for everything. Fuck.
But I didn't get married.
Yes.
So I shouldn't have to pay anything. Wow, that's just.
That's remarkable.
I attribute that to energy drinks.
All right.
Fox 9. Oh, Fox 5 News. Sorry. I thought we were going to get a Paul Bloom story.
You got Grammarly student.
A University of North Georgia student on academic probation after she says that she used Grammarly to proofread a paper. The university claims she used artificial intelligence to complete it.
Fox 5's Kim Luffler has the back and forth of what happened.
The UNG junior I spoke with says she's used the proofreading tool before, but a paper she turned in back in October was flagged for plagiarism.
It's just been very frustrating.
Marley Stevens says after submitting a paper for her criminal justice class in October, she was surprised to learn her professor gave her a 0 for the assignment and reported her to the Office of Student Integrity.
And he was like, you used AI on your paper, you get a 0. That was it. I had Grammarly installed in my web browser, but I've only ever had like the free version of it. So all it did was fix my punctuation and my spelling.
She submitted the paper through the program Turnitin, which flagged it for the use of AI. Earlier this month, she learned she'd been placed on academic probation.
So I'm guessing she used an AI to proofread the spelling mistakes and whatnot. And somehow that AI talked to another AI, knowing that it scanned her work, is 100% plagiarized.
And rewrote the story or rewrote the paper.
AI you.
The company Grammarly says the suggestions for grammar and spelling changes aren't made through generative AI, an algorithm which can create new content on its own. They also know some third-party tools can mistake any Grammarly use as generative AI. Stevens says she's used Grammarly on other assignments before without issue.
I've written my papers the same exact way all through college. In a Google Doc with my Grammarly extension, I've never had any problems.
Regarding their AI policies, the University of North Georgia issued a statement saying, in part, our faculty members communicate specific guidelines regarding the use of AI for various classes, and those guidelines are included in the class syllabi.
If it's a college, they should have a school-wide policy for things like this, instead of just leaving it up to each and every professor. Even though it wrote absolutely nothing for me, I still get a 0.
Stevens took to TikTok to share her story, which has millions of views.
I didn't think posting it on TikTok would fix it for me with the school in any way, but AI is really getting integrated into everything, and so I just wanted to warn other people and be like, hey, if you're going to do this, talk to your professors every semester, ask them specific questions.
Stevens academic probation.
Yeah, so that's AI is going to be everywhere, and apparently AI is going to be in more places than a lot of AI companies want it to be. We have a story about that in just a second, but before then, let's take a quick trip over to Louisville, Kentucky. Let's see how the Kentucky people are doing. 5 days ago, I guess there's a truck hanging off a bridge. You hear?
Oh, that's nice. No, I didn't see that. No, that's nice.
This is news. So this is an 11-hour video. So I guess they're just waiting. It's kind of nice. Someone decided to just film this for 11 hours. I don't know if there's anyone.
That's probably one of those traffic cams.
Yeah, okay, now it gets dark and wait a second. That looks different. Hold on. Something happened.
Truck fell off? No, they pulled it up. You can see it pulled up.
Yeah, I think they pulled it up.
Yeah, because it was hanging further down. So they're getting it up off the ground, getting it out of there. Do you suppose they got the driver out of there before they pulled it up, or was he just sitting in there the whole time going, Guys, hello.
Well, that would be rough because there's a little platform here with this rock they could climb up on, but you'd have to scale that, and that's high risk. So I don't
those firefighter guys, those rescue guys, they're into that high risk shit. So they probably did get him out of there.
Cool.
I would imagine.
So
that's cool. Well, but I don't ever want to be hanging off a bridge in a truck.
All right, and before we get to how there's AI going everywhere and a bunch of other spooky stuff, here's a LAPD officer that knew too much who died.
Case. The LAPD has always maintained this was a horrible accident, but the family of Officer Houston Tipping doesn't believe it. So it looks like this case will be going to trial.
I'm angry, disgusted, heartbroken, and life is just different without him because of what they did.
Shirley Huffman believes her son, LAPD officer Houston Tipping, was targeted and killed because he knew about rape allegations against fellow officers in the department.
He was concerned enough that he was looking to leave, and he had interviewed, and that was his intention, was to leave.
Attorney Brad Gage says Officer Tipping was an instructor at the police academy and was conducting a training exercise when he was gravely injured.
After he became the instructor there, one of the accused officers signed up for that class, went into that class, engaged in intentional acts against my client, including putting him into a headlock, which he admits in his deposition testimony that we have, and also picking him up in what is known colloquially as a pile driver wrestling move.
Wait.
He's giving him a suplex. Well, and put him in the hospital and broke his neck or whatever, and he died because of it.
What do you get? He's accused me of rape. You're a cop. You have a gun. You have a baton. You have the boys. You have a locker room. You have a whole. You're LAPD. You're one of the biggest gangs in Los Angeles.
You are the biggest gang in Los Angeles, and you're given guns by the government and all the ammo you want, and every piece of information you get your hands on.
Yeah, pretty much. And instead of doing anything, he puts him in a headlock and gives him a pile driver.
Well, it's not funny because the guy died, but it's like, I don't know. Where's the rioting going on here? Oh, that's right. It was probably two white guys killing each other.
I wasn't ready for that. You see this, and it's like he knew too much. The LAPD officer knew too much, and he's dead. What happened? Headlock, pile driver.
Pile driver, many other things. We didn't get to the other parts. Though, was the pile driver that put him in the hospital bed?
Suplex. What the fuck?
It wasn't two black guys. It was two white guys.
I got to run that one back. It's a fucking
class. Went into that class, engaged in intentional acts against my client, including putting him into a headlock, which he admits in his deposition testimony that we have, and also picking him up in what is known colloquially as a pile driver wrestling move.
Officer driver was paralyzed.
What is known colloquially as a pile driver wrestling.
And after 3 days in the hospital, died on May 29, 2022. But the LAPD calls it a tragic accident. LAPD Chief Michael Moore had this to say back in 2022.
Officer Tipping was not attacked. He was not beaten up by a group of officers, and he was not involved in any investigation of any police officer within the Los Angeles Police Department.
Gage disagrees. He's filed a lawsuit alleging wrongful death, battery, and whistleblower retaliation.
Having an officer who is investigating criminal acts against other employees who then dies and is killed has to be distressing to everyone. It has to concern us for public safety.
My son was a good cop. He loved being a police officer. It was what his fiber was. And I believe that when he saw something, he said something, and it got him killed.
Attorney Gage says he's working to depose Chief Michael Moore. He says the trial is expected to begin in late June.
Well, I didn't know Michael Moore moved up to that position in life.
I'll conclude that families after some of that wrongful death money that's always out there.
Yeah. In related news.
Yeah.
Brothers Wrestling Academy. I'm Joey Chaos with Jezebel Romo. We're back with our instructional videos. What we're going to show you today is how to take the pile driver. So there's many different ways to take the driver. So what we're going to do is just show you the what I know is the basic way. Okay. So first thing you want to do, why don't you come right here? First thing you want to do is you have your opponent, you want to get them down. If you looked at our instructional videos, you'll know the kick to the gut. You want to kick her to the gut, right? You get her down and right between the legs. Now, as I grip, I'm going to go ahead and do an S-lock grip just like that. Let me show that camera. So the S-lock grip just like that. So I have her down, okay? And you see exactly what she's doing. She's grabbing the back of my thighs. And what she does is when I lift her up, I want her legs to be straight and I want her body to be stiff like a plank, like a board. Her legs pointed straight up. And I want her to hold the back of my thighs so she can actually clutch them in to close them off between her, actually protect her neck, okay? And as I land in this move, you'll notice that I have to, if you ever did the leg drop in professional wrestling, you're gonna land in an angle. Okay? So what you're gonna do is you have it bent like this. Her shoulders will be here, and that's where we'll protect her on the pile driver, okay? So come right here. We have you down, boom, okay, we take her here, okay, we come over here so you can see her feet. I'm gonna grab her in that S-lock, lift up, her legs go straight up just like that. She's grabbing the back of my thighs, and I'm gonna just go ahead and sit, no jump. Okay, so at this point, the audio went out actually from the pile driver, but the main purpose is usually my legs are actually bent. That's gonna actually fall forward. So we'll go right now, and I'm going to show you again. I go ahead and put her in position. I grip that S-lock. I lift her up. Her toes are painted straight, and I just sit down. But look the way my legs are bent and the way she and my opponent's legs fall forward. And that's so important. So we'll actually show it again just to really emphasize. This is going to protect your neck if you're taking the pile driver. Look the way her legs fall forward into your neck to protect your neck because the pile driver is a very dangerous move. So we're going to go ahead and show again. We're going to actually show the jumping one here. Same position as I put her in the pile driver position. I go for the pickup and the S-lock. And here it's just a little jump into what I would say like a leg drop position.
Yeah, so don't try this at home, kids.
Even though every one of us tried this when we were growing up, we just didn't know the correct way of doing it. We literally pile drived our friends.
I didn't think I'd be doing that segue today. I did not.
It's a good segue. Everybody in the country knows how to do the pile driver.
Yes, if you got a snitch in the office, and you need to give them a pile driver,
do it properly.
Or if someone's fucking with you in the office and they give you a pile driver, you got to protect your neck.
Yeah,
and that's how you do it.
Grab the back of their legs and I don't know what else you're doing, but whatever.
And hope for the best. Unless you're in fucking 90, unless you time travel to 90s All Japan and you have to take Tiger Driver 91, in which case you better hope you don't break your neck. Before we get to this point, do you remember our Vince McMahon episode?
Yes, I do.
So that's the guy who was having three-ways with him.
Oh, this guy with upside down there?
Yeah, and it's a little bit harder to break your to keep your neck safe there. So but notice
how he landed mostly on the back of his shoulders.
You're supposed to take it on as
Your
much as you
shoulders.
can the shoulders, but
Yeah.
it's the hardest move to take because you have the least amount of time to make. If you want to make it look good, that's the trick.
That's why they had the wrestling school right here in Minnesota.
Yeah, a few of them.
Yeah.
But
And-
Japan was different. Antonio Inoki was different. But
Wow.
anyway, we got I didn't see
Japan
how-
is Japan is different.
AI. We went from cops getting pile drivers. AI students using AI is getting suspended to cops getting pile drivers to pile driver instruction school back to AI. So back a Bay Area employee has been charged with stealing AI.
A former Google software engineer charged with
Oh, I'm sorry, a Google employee.
Oh wow. One of the alphabets.
Raise the stakes.
stealing technology while secretly working with two companies based in China.
Not China.
Was arrested in Newark today. Chinese nationals accused of stealing artificial intelligence innovations from Google. Ding faces 4 counts of federal trade secret theft. Each charge could carry a sentence of up to 10 years in prison.
Oh well, sure. There's nothing to look at there. Don't worry. Do not look any further.
Well, I was reading earlier that the Snakehead gang out of China, I guess they're the big bad gang, have hooked up with the Mexican cartels to help smuggle people into the United States now.
Oh, in the United States. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because they want to get more Chinese fit men into the United States.
Again with the Chinese fit men. I don't know. When's the
You-
last time you saw a buff Chinese dude? I mean, I guess we just showed some buff Japanese dude, but I've never seen a Chinese.
Well, you don't. I don't think you can. I don't think you'd notice them because they're ninja-like, you know.
There's a good.
They hide in the shadows.
Were the ninjas both Japanese and Chinese?
No, they were just Japanese.
I forget.
I don't know what I don't know. If Chinese had something.
They did have something. They had samurais.
Samurais, that's it.
Which there might be a bit of both. Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got it's a whole other thing because they got a whole different diet and they have a lot more carbs over there. Speaking of carbs, Newsom's in trouble with Panera Bread.
Today for Prop 1, which focuses on the homeless and mental health systems. But the governor also facing backlash about Panera Bread and California's minimum wage law. NBC4 chief political reporter Conan Nolan asked him about it during a one-on-one interview that you will see here for the first time and only on NBC4. Conan joins us now live from our newsroom. Conan.
That's right. Well, first, the clock is ticking for the governor of California, who was in San Fernando today, touting his effort to build facilities for the mentally ill. The governor has argued for Proposition 1, a $6.4 billion bond issue, is what he calls a game changer in the effort against chronic homelessness. But while the ballot measure has been the governor's priority, his efforts have been diverted by that controversy you mentioned, Kathy, involving the state's new minimum wage law for fast food workers. Under the law, the governor signed last year, the food workers
that it's a
are
friend of Gavin Newsom who doesn't have to pay the $20 an hour minimum
Yeah,
wage.
but it turns out, A, it's not true. He never talked to me about it, period, full stop. So
He
there
didn't
were
have to talk to you about it.
there were some discussions around bakeries and this and that. But in relationship to this story, it's absurd.
It's a coincidence that that this new minimum wage law did not impact a campaign contributor of yours.
It does impact. The Restaurant Association just came out with a statement saying it does impact.
the backup to that. So here's the problem: is that the law impacted just those who work for fast food restaurant chains. There was a provision in it that singled out those who make standalone bread products, bakery products, and that it appeared, according to Bloomberg News, who did a deep dive into it, to have helped the governor's friend, the guy named Greg Floyd, who is runs 24 different Panera Bread restaurants in California.
Come on,
the governor, as you saw right there,
This
pushed
guy's got
back
some
on
money.
that, as saying that a new
24
analysis
Paneras?
of that bill says they would be covered by that minimum wage law. But he's quite. It appeared it is still somewhat concerning that the governor's friend, an individual who has contributed to his campaign, appeared at the outset who have benefited from this law. The governor says that's not the case, but others have said it's going to be up to the courts to interpret it. But once again, we'll have more on that at 6. And
yeah, more than that at 6. So there's
yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm looking at the prices of things, and you know, the prices of things are just going up everywhere, and you should be paying your people more. We have another thing about consumers being upset about the prices of things, but I also got one about people needing to be paid more. We'll go with the burger meat thing because meat's important. Like meat is a good thing. Customers have a major beef with soaring burger prices nowadays.
It's a popular spot for a burger, fries, and more. But this morning, rising prices at Five Guys making some customers lose their appetites.
So I'm just wondering why the food here is so crazy.
One tweet going viral calling the cost of a meal out of
$20, $21. I mean, a Big Mac nowadays,
it's $20.
with this receipt apparently showing a $22 price tag for a bacon cheeseburger, regular soda, and little fry. People grilling the popular burger chain on social media.
This is a fast food restaurant. Why is a burger $12.50?
But Five Guys is not alone.
Why are you still going? Why is everyone still going?
Yeah,
there?
stop going there.
I think
it won't be $12.50. They'll be gone.
I think McDonald's just started reporting like profit loss for like the first time in a while from like people waking up and being like, "Listen, bitch, you're McDonald's."
The price of eating at restaurants rising higher than the rate of inflation in the last 12 months. Limited service meals like fast food are up 5.8% over the past year, while full service meals at sit-down restaurants increased 4.3%.
Eating away from home is about 30% more expensive than it was in 2019. But now a lot of these restaurants realize they really just can't raise prices anymore. I think customers are at a breaking point.
Increasingly high fast food prices leaving a bitter taste for consumers hungry for a good deal on a quick bite.
Almost $9 for a Big Mac.
With reports on social media of an $18 Big Mac meal at one Connecticut rest stop.
The Baconator you love?
And even Wendy's announcing it plans to test dynamic pricing, charging different prices for the same item based on demand throughout the day. Nearly
what the fuck?
Uber pricing.
So what is it?
We're kind of busy, so this burger's gonna cost you $1 more.
What the fuck is this?
The employees aren't making more money. Right? It's not like, hey, it's getting busy. Everybody's getting $1 more an hour today.
So now everyone's going to get food at like 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. and like 9, like random ass times now.
They'll be looking at their phones going, are they busy? Are they busy? Oh, they're not busy right now. I'm going to go right now.
Right.
As soon as they get busy, I don't want to pay that extra $1.
So check this out. I actually pulled up an article on this like a couple weeks ago. So funny how that works. It's been 30 years since food ate up this much of your income. And
I believe that.
And I can't see the chart. That fucking sucks. There's a chart somewhere that shows like, oh, it's now higher than it's like eating out versus cooking your own food. And we've now crossed the
line.
We've crossed the line. It's
funny that they bring up, you saw that Bush was in office and Terminator 2 was in the theaters, and got nothing to do with AI and Connor.
Restaurant owners say they're facing higher operating and labor costs, and food prices are up too. In Milwaukee, Naz Musa is navigating those challenges. At his restaurant Casablanca, he's implementing innovative ways in an effort not to pass costs onto his customers.
Now we're making our own pita bread, and that saved us a lot of money.
The Wall Street Journal reporting more than half of small business owners, like restaurateurs, said higher labor costs are their biggest source of inflation.
NBC News reached out to Five Guys for comment, but did not hear back. And McDonald's has told us in the past that, look, all the prices vary by location. These are franchisees with different sort of micro economies. But it used to be the burger, if you went to a restaurant, you kind of was safe. That was kind of a cheaper thing on the menu. Yeah. Not anymore.
These burgers are from the Today Show kitchen.
Wow.
Delicious.
Fantastic burgers. Thank you, Katie. How are the chains in restaurants, Christine? Like, how are they making sure that when you sit down, you don't get like sticker shock, initial shock from these menu prices?
So the big chains have a little more wiggle room and leeway, but these small independent restaurants, those are the people who had to get really creative. They're shuffling their menu items. They're taking things off the menu that maybe have high input costs. And when you talk to them, they tell you that it's not actually what's on the plate that costs them so much. The beef was at record highs late last year, but it's coming down a little bit. But it's the labor, it's the rent, it's the packaging. Some of these small business owners have told me that the packaging has doubled and tripled. And so their input costs are still real high in the past 2 or 3 years. And so they're really trying to find ways to bring those costs down. Again, you heard that business owner say that he was actually starting to do the prep work himself. You know, he was doing more work to try to keep his costs down.
Tomorrow you should do a story on the high cost of French fries.
and fried chicken. We'll do a fried chicken story.
Get that fried chicken in there. And fried chicken. You.
No, she did it.
She did it.
Or we made it that way anyway. But hey, yeah, people do need to be paid, a living wage.
Okay, wait a minute. No, I'm going to disagree with you there.
Okay, I don't really. I'm not dying on the hill. It was just for
no. There's no reason to die on this hill. It's not a hill to fight over. But McDonald's and Wendy's and all those fast food places.
Which Wendy's is really just luxury McDonald's, if you think about it.
You weren't supposed to start when you were 17 years old or 16 years old, your first job ever, and plan on retiring there. That wasn't the idea, to work 40 years at McDonald's under the retirement and 401k plan. And, I should be able to buy a house working at McDonald's by the time I'm 28. No, that's not what that job was entailing. This was a job to get people to work their first jobs.
Yeah, it was for part-timers who needed to do something else and for retirees to go all out.
Correct. Well, retirees should go in there and be, Walmart started it when they started hiring retirees to be greeters.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you want to do when you retire? I want to be a Walmart greeter.
Hey, I mean, if someone needs something to do and a few other chunk of change,
but,
I mean, there's no shame.
But it wasn't meant to be your lifelong ambition to be a McDonald's window server.
No, I mean, unless you're, I don't know why, unless you're like an autistic people person and you get a kick out of it, fuck it. But
when you get the city councils and the mayors and the governors of states going, we need to have a minimum wage for these restaurant workers. No, that wasn't what it was all intended about. That's why the cost of going to those places was so cheap 20 years ago.
That, and you see the standards of things change too, especially with the expectations of people in those states where that minimum wage gets dramatically thrown up, and it's kind of like you create a bunch of people who you can't see in the moment because they're happy they get a few more bucks an hour, and it does add up. But down the line, it's like there's a weird psychological effect where you don't really realize till 15 years later that you would have done something else out of that. But speaking about people who, got to find a way to get money or a different job, this waitress got the money and got fired.
Oh, yeah.
She was told Michiana 1 week and then fired the next.
The story of the $10,000 tip at a Benton Harbor restaurant went south in a hurry when server Lindsay Boyd was let go after sharing her windfall with her coworkers.
George Mallet spoke to Lindsay Boyd on camera today for the very first time, on the record as well today, and joins us now with the latest. Explain what happened here.
Well, when our Erica Jimenez shared her report on the $10,000 tip, it had all the elements of a feel-good story. A single mom waiting tables, divides it evenly with everybody working that day. A week later, though, the wheels came off.
Except the boss. He didn't get a taste, and that's it. That's what happened.
Is it?
My taste. This entire thing, whether I wanted to be or not.
We all went to the Mason Jar Cafe in Benton Harbor to tell the story of the $10,000 tip. Despite these pictures of a bustling restaurant filled with cheerful servers, all may not have been hunky-dory. Lindsay Boyd says the place became toxic, with coworkers unhappy with the distribution of her big tip. Lindsay went to management.
I at least made them aware of things that were being said.
Lindsay says they dealt with the animosity by firing her the following week. She'll never forget what her boss said to her.
It was still getting a lot of publicity and attention, and the best way to calm the situation and move forward.
Calm the situation. Treat it like a strip club. Have someone else come over and spend $11,000 the next day. What are you doing?
How come she said anything to anybody? I would have just been, have a nice night, everybody. I got to leave a little early.
I would have been like, no, make it out too.
Yeah, right here.
Was for me to not come back.
So Lindsay did what so many of us do. She posted her firing and the story behind it on social media.
Oh,
Then
sure,
she said
why not?
her former employer began to threaten her.
I was told legal action is being taken against me.
For what?
And that if I wanted lawyers to be after me for the foreseeable future, I needed to take my post down.
For
I would have
her
told him
part,
to F
Lindsay
off.
recorded those allegedly
Yeah.
threatening phone calls, and she allowed me to hear them. And it's understandable now why Lindsay has hired a lawyer.
You know, I was praised so much on TV for, being willing to share this, which is what the man asked. That's all I did. But it hurt, saying that I'm such a wonderful employee. And then the next week,
You're fired.
And then the next week, canned.
Fired,
Lindsay's
right.
lawyer, Jennifer McManus of Fagan Law, tells me her client isn't planning legal action against the Mason Jar Cafe. She's just responding
Yet.
to those alleged threats and wants to be left alone.
Yet.
I called the Mason Jar Cafe today and asked if someone there could go on camera with me. The manager I spoke with said he would follow up with me, and maybe he will. That was shortly before 11 this morning. I haven't
Hey,
heard
chance
back
of hell,
from
buddy.
anyone.
Maybe you will. Oh, the
Maybe you will.
media. You want to
Got
talk to the media today? The good old media. I don't know about that. Hey, man. I mean, that's.
Oh,
10
that's-
grand. You know what? You know what would happen if someone fucking shorted me on 10 grand? You know what I would do to them?
Right there. Oh, I thought you were showing the picture.
Hey, Ramoncito. Ramonsote, because he's bigger, right? We're back with our instructional videos here at Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. What I'm going to show you today is how to do a power bomb. Okay, so we're going to use a lot of technique on doing this power bomb. We're not going to try to lift
Power
him
bomb,
up
okay.
because I'm not like Big Van Vader and I'm just going to lift that guy up. A couple pointers as I do it. My man taking it is going to go ahead and do a sit-up all the way up. As you do the power bomb, there's no way around it. His nuts are going to be in my face. You got to be comfortable with that if you're a pro wrestler. He's going to go all the way up. You want to have him all the way up here and then land him flat on his back. And to do that, you shouldn't bend over. If you bend over, you're going to land him right here on his shoulders and his neck. So as you come down, you kind of squat your leg. But just make sure, whatever the case is, make sure your man lands flat on his back. Okay, so now as I have my man in powerbomb position, I'm going to lift him up. I don't like leaving my seatbelt on right here. It doesn't allow my guy to go and sit all the way up. He can only go so far. I actually like to release on the lift. I like to release and then come back to it. And you'll see in the video how I do that. But the main thing is that way, if I have that seatbelt on, and we'll show you, he can do the sit-up all the way. And then it gets really dangerous on doing that. So let's, without further ado, we want to bend our guy over.
Go nuts again.
You want to
Okay,
go ahead and put him right between your legs right there. You see the way he's posting? He's ready to push up. He's ready to do a sit-up. As I go in and lock, I'm going to hold right here. And I want to give him the old pro wrestling up-down. I want him up and down. You see the way he posts that? And I'm going to get him up. Okay, so we'll do the proper powerbomb first. Up and down. Okay, and as you saw, how I had to lift and then release. Now, my man, I'm going to take him and we're just going to do the lift. No bump. But I'm going to show you where that lock comes in and becomes a seatbelt where you can't lift up. Okay. You see that here, how he's trying to get up there, but he can't. And that's because of that seatbelt. So you want to make sure to go ahead and hit that release on that. It gets real dangerous on the power bomb. So I'll show you one more time with the release coming down. Okay, he's ready to push off. He's going to sit up. I'm going to down and up, release. And right down, making sure my man lands flat.
There you go. Scoop me over for 10 grand, you're getting power bombed. And if you're smart, that's how you can take it. There, we've added like 6 minutes to our show.
Well, you know, we don't want kids. This is a public service announcement right here.
And we're not
power bomb. Don't stay in the seatbelt too long.
There you go.
That's it. I mean, you got to release that seatbelt and then grab again.
Yes.
You can't be worried about having his nuts in your face.
I can't worry about that. You got bigger things to deal with.
Yeah, there's other things to worry about than his nuts in your face.
Yes. All right. You know what? There are bigger things to worry about, and especially in your neck of the woods. Minneapolis has a police problem so much that they're getting creative with their hiring
to recruit
process.
and retain. Fox 9's Courtney Godfrey sat down with Mayor Jacob Fry and Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
The boy mayor.
Launch $1 million
It must be fucking cold in that studio.
campaign launches tomorrow.
Did you see that?
The commercial.
Rewind that.
Brian O'Hara, as the city prepares to launch a
Holy Christ.
campaign. The campaign launches tomorrow and will include TV commercials, social media ads, and billboards.
Billboards?
At a time when recruitment is harder than ever.
The message very clearly is, imagine yourself doing this incredible work. Imagine yourself as a hero here in the city of Minneapolis. Yes, we need you. Yes, this is a calling. And yes, you can step up to serve our community.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry is pulling out all the stops as he looks to fill hundreds of vacancies in the police department.
In Minneapolis, you're going to have a better opportunity than anywhere else, both to gain a skill set, but also for advancement. This is the city to do it.
This at a time when police academies are seeing some of the lowest enrollment in history, and officers are overwhelmingly under attack. Just from 2019 to 2023, the number of officers assaulted statewide more than doubled. And in this city, there will always be the history of a council that largely supported dismantling the department altogether.
Yeah, you remember
Police
that?
Chief Brian
Wow,
O'Hara
when
says
did that
recruits
happen?
can be assured their boss has their back.
This is the guy that walked out in front of a crowd of thousands by himself and literally put his body on the line to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's a stupid idea. I don't know any other mayor that's done something like that, or many other.
That's kind of romanticizing.
Yeah, that's not really what he said. Then just shortly after that, they booed him off the fucking stage too.
He made himself
Get the
like
hell out of North Minneapolis. We don't want you up here.
I think it was Northeast, but he made himself look like an absolute.
Yes, he did.
Police chiefs that done something like that to show support for their people.
This, as O'Hara says, it's a different department today, a department welcoming those wanting to be part of change.
The
Trannies.
level of support that exists in this city for this.
So wait a second. So we got this dude who's for however long he's been there, he hasn't found a shirt that fits yet. Before then, he had a black one. And am I right that before you had an interim one for like a day?
Yeah.
Am I right that you had the first woman, and before then, or the first black, and before then you had the first, I want to say, woman Native American lesbian. Was that what she was?
I don't know. At one point they were blowing through them like cordwood. It was just like whatever.
I was
Get someone-
surprised at how often there's a turnaround. I'm like, is this normal to switch your police chief every
No.
2-4 years?
No, and they just didn't find one that would fit their profile that they wanted.
And no kidding.
And this guy obviously said the right things to the right people.
Yeah.
They had a gay sheriff. Remember?
Yeah. Let me pull up. I want to pull up a list of
That
the
worked. That worked well for him.
Here's the list of the. Hey, if you want to dig a hole, I'll get you a sandbox. How about that? Here we go. List of police chiefs in Minneapolis. I guess one dude got shot by an opium user. Oh, that was the 1870s.
1871. Okay, well, I don't remember that one.
There's the Tong Wars, the fucking Chinese war.
1925.
There's a racial thing. Okay, a lot happened. Overweight police was an issue in the 70s. Teenage prostitution. I missed those years. The day that one dude got shot. Here we go.
There it is right here.
Everything
2012 to 2017.
And then 2017 to 2022. And then you had this one person for one day in 2022 moving forward. It's this dude.
Guy.
Who real quick, this dude ain't even from here. He's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Lived in Newark. And he worked he was a police and he was a police officer somewhere before he was in Minneapolis. Was it Jersey? I think it was-
Newark.
Poor bastard.
He got out of Newark. What can you say? That's a good word, you know.
Whoa, wait, hold on. I didn't know this. He's been married twice. His current wife. Whoa! O'Hara holds the lieutenant rank in the New York Police Department, where she's the highest ranking Black and Muslim woman in the department.
Wait a minute. She lives in New York. He lives here.
She's a Black and Muslim woman in the department. He has 2 sons from a prior marriage. So forget that 2 sons part. He's his current wife. Whoa, O'Hara holds a lieutenant in New York. In the Newark Police Department, highest ranking Black and Muslim woman, and he is a Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic, yes. Like, don't they fight all the time?
I have no words.
How can you? What?
This was not the point I was trying to make, so I got nothing. We're going back to the original point. So before then, you had the first Black police chief, and before then, you had the first female openly gay and Native American chief in the city's history. So it just went balls to the wall for 20 years.
Wait a minute now.
Or 10 years.
So, Medira Arando, or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
He was in office when that guy fell asleep.
Yes.
And he had to leave office because he couldn't.
And
basically, he wanted to stand behind the police, and they weren't going to let him.
Right.
Pretty much. He was actually a police chief. This guy is just a spokesman.
Yeah, he wasn't. He did what he could. I think that's fair for him, right?
I think so too. I don't think he did anything. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't have to quit because of that. He quit because I'm out of here. This is not going to go well for us.
Yeah, I think he could see the scales, and it's not worth throwing the ball.
Yeah. I wonder where he's working now.
He wanted to move to whatchamacallit on the West Coast, but I don't know.
I mean, he's probably a police chief someplace.
Very well could be. I mean, it's just a matter of time after you saw the flag change.
Yeah.
Down, Republican lawmakers sparked it back up.
Oh my God! Don't start this. This is such bullshit.
Redesign Commission. Corin Hoggard is live at the Capitol. So, Corin, this is a new battle that they're unlikely to win.
Yeah, Kelsey, unless this legislature changes its mind and votes against them, the new state flag and seal are going to become official on May 11th. That's Statehood Day. But their opponents are still trying to stop it. A relatively simple flag.
It's not happening.
It has flown since 1983, and at least some people don't like the change. Speakers at a rally on the Capitol steps Tuesday said it seemed like the
Fucking great turnout. We have more local fans than they do.
There's a lady with a flag wrapped around her, though.
Flag were embarrassed of the state of Minnesota.
We aren't the best state in the country, but Alexander Ramsey happened to be standing next to Abraham Lincoln when the Civil War broke out.
Even in the 19th century, historians say Governor Ramsey expressed some reservations about the state seal being.
Did you see his bottom half on his name title?
No.
J. Duggan Rocks and Cows.
When the Civil War broke out.
Even in the 19th century, historians say Governor Ramsey expressed some reservations about the state seal being too hostile to native tribes.
I had us covered up. Here we go.
There you go.
Rocks and Cows.
Rocks and Cows.
Yeah.
Even in the 19th century, historians say Governor Ramsey expressed some reservations about the state seal being too hostile to native tribes. Complaints about its racist origins were among the reasons for the change. And Democrats who were on the redesign commission say they did the right thing, considering almost 22.
Are those the other options?
Yeah. Look at them.
Public comments. Senator Mary Kunish told us, quote, "I am proud of that process and the result, and look forward to seeing the new flag fly over the Capitol," end quote. She says people have moved on and legislators now have real work to do.
Nice looking flags there, huh?
Men are worried the change could be costly.
The loon one was all right.
We find ourselves grappling with
looks like the flags of a Girl Scout troop.
Burdens.
Wright County leaders say their bill is likely to be more than $150,000. Republican lawmakers say the least the state should do is reimburse counties for new flag.
Wait, what?
Well, when you introduce a new flag, right?
You have to buy new flags.
You have to buy new flags, and some counties don't have a shitload of money in the state of Minnesota.
You need $150K for fucking flags?
Well, there's a lot of counties. They all got to buy a new flag.
Their counterparts in county government are worried the change could be costly.
In our case, we find ourselves grappling with unexpected financial burdens.
Wright County leaders say their bill is likely to be more than $150,000.
Goddamn.
Republican lawmakers say the least the state should do is reimburse counties for new flags, seals, and badges.
Sure,
But
why
they
not?
also submitted new bills Tuesday to put the new emblems on the November.
I don't mind that one.
That's not a flag. That's the state emblem.
Yeah, and what was the old emblem just the seal of the flag?
No, it had a loon on it, but it was a different loon.
Oh,
I don't know. These
is
people
not
have
to,
other things to do than figure out what fucking flag we're going to fly.
Yeah, you'd figure.
Back to this flag or to go to the new flag, the goal remains Minnesotans deserve the right to vote for what
Yeah.
represents them.
That's right.
Well, the reality is these opponents are in the minority here at the Capitol, and no Democrat has really shown any desire to undo the work of the redesign.
Yeah, no shit. 3 hours ago, they proposed a public vote.
The second American civil.
Shut the fuck up. It's gonna be fucking Israel. Shut up, boomer.
Months on May 11th, this design will officially become Minnesota's new state flag.
So creative. It's not backwards in art at all.
That is
Wait a minute.
unless Republicans at the Capitol have their
What do you do when your state's in distress? You fly your flag upside down, right?
Now you can fly it inside out.
You can't fly this flag upside down. It's the same thing.
Well, you can put it sideways. You can't hang it sideways. Well, you can hang it sideways by one of the things, can't you?
But if you hung it up, it has to be hung upside down to show distress.
Right.
So our state can never be in distress again.
Well, it's just always in distress too. If you look.
Yeah,
at
it's
that.
all. I mean, we should just fly our flag upside down all the time.
Yeah. She's Italian, right? Or is she Asian?
That one there?
Yeah.
What's her
She's,
name?
She's Italian and something else, I think. I forget which.
Launched efforts to
They're
stop.
married, right?
These two?
Yeah. Aren't they?
I
thought
can't
they were.
remember.
all the design and debate of the last year and potentially start over from scratch. WCCO's Alan Henry explains why it may be a non-starter.
Mm-hmm.
We're not against change. We're against having people force the change upon us without hearing from us.
Be a lot cooler if you were against change. That'd be
Yeah.
a step forward.
Those Minnesotans still upset over the new state flag design and how it was picked Tuesday afternoon at the Capitol was their chance to have their voice heard, something they say was missing in the process.
They ran
And the
$20 million
12 of them
campaign
showed
ads
up and said
to
something.
get elected, but I don't remember one of them saying we needed a new state flag. Nothing says diversity and inclusion like a small group of people from one political party telling everybody what diversity and inclusion is.
Republicans in the minority at the Capitol and on the design.
I'm sorry. Is there anything that says you can't fly the old flag?
No, you should see that the sales of the old flag have gone through the roof too, because everybody went out and bought the old flag. Even if you didn't own a Minnesota flag, people went out and bought the flag.
This is a fucking business.
The federal, now the state government can't fly the old flag.
And
Counties can't fly the old flag, but you can fly your own flag. You can fly any flag you want to in front of your front yard.
Well, there you go. The old flag, the flag of distress is now the old flag.
Committee agree and are trying to take action, introducing 3 bills to roll back the new flag.
13 unelected members spoke for 5.7 million people. We are advocating for nothing more than the right of Minnesotans to vote
Tim
on
Walz
what
speaks?
represents them.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That's the question, and that's what these bills are designed to do.
The first bill Republicans are proposing would poll Minnesotans for
shit.
feedback and potential changes to be made in the next session. The second would authorize a local ballot measure so Minnesotans could vote on the flag design. The third would be a constitutional amendment allowing for a referendum on the flag. Any of those bills would need support from Democrats, something that doesn't seem likely when we recently asked the governor about the efforts.
Our current flag is problematic. I think we all know that. We've evolved into a more diverse state, and I think it's more reflective of that. But look, while Republicans are going to be talking about this, I'm going to be building roads, bridges, and water treatment plants.
Alan
No, you're
Henry,
not.
WCCO News.
TFL
No, you're
Speaker of
not.
the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman, has said that there will not be the votes to delay.
Maybe we should reach out to some people in some red counties. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That's interesting. I mean, if I had to do, if all that hubble baloo was going on, you'd have some, you'd start some talk about, I don't know, leaving. Speaking of that, I guess that's not a unique idea because I just searched state secession, and in the past couple weeks, most Californians believe they'd be happier if the state seceded. 1 in 4 Washingtons want the state to secede. New survey shows. Texas newspaper issues warning about secession. Almost 1 in 4 Arizona Republicans want to secede from the U.S. 11 days ago. Texas again. Secession, a new book 10 days ago.
Yeah, people aren't happy.
Yeah, it's like a lot of 1 day ago, 4 days ago, or that's some other shit. 6 days ago.
25% of the country wants to secede from the country.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah, it's bad business.
That's not good. Yeah, I mean,
redistricting, that's one thing, but then also it's like the big issue with all these things is like, well, have you considered how the resources will be used and whatnot? And at the end of the day, there's a lot of places will just end up flat broke. You might be happy or you might be exploited less, but I ain't reading all that shit.
Well, they talk about seceding from the country, right?
Mhm.
But there's states that want to secede, that want to cut their state in half and secede from the state.
Right.
And that seems more likely than anything else, because then you're still under the government flag of the United States. So you'd still be protected by the United States. If you left the United States, you're on your own.
If they're doing that, it might mean that it's a little bit easier. That route might be easier for some other kind of Confederacy 2.0 shit or whatever pipe dream that they want to have. We didn't finish the police chief clip. We'll see. Let's wrap that up.
Okay.
Unlike anything I have seen since September 12th, 2001.
We need more police officers. It is an honorable profession. And police officers also need to be held accountable when they do the wrong thing. Both of those things are true. And we got to recognize that.
Pay has also been a major barrier to recruitment, as many surrounding suburbs tend to offer more. Mayor Fry says he will put forward a proposal in the coming months to give officers a significant bump. In the newsroom, Courtney Godfrey, Fox 9.
There you go. Whoa.
Well, they went through the Minneapolis City Council, and the City Council turned down their application for a big raise for overtimes and stuff like that in the Minneapolis Police Department. They said no.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of overtime, 2 minutes.
Fry's gonna step in and become the hero of the police by giving them a raise. Get the police union back on his side.
Ballsy move.
Ballsy. Well, he was the only one that stood up and said, "I'm not going to defund the police department." Didn't have to. They defunded themselves by these officers quitting.
Has Minnesota ever made like a normal decision? Because we look back at the police department, police chiefs of staffs, and it's like, here's the first this, the first that, and it's like, let's not forget this is also the place that elected Jesse Ventura, the pro wrestler, to be the governor.
Yeah,
it's like we really should have waken up then and then been like, well, it's not like things are going to get better after everyone made that happen.
And it wasn't even just a little bit of a big race. I mean, he won.
Then we had the billionaire Dayton. That was. He never really got his medication fixed right.
Never blinked an eye when he was on camera.
No.
That's why I nicknamed him Blinky.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess he's doing fine living in his mansion out in South Dakota now.
I bet.
Having a great time. At least he's got a dog that doesn't bite the Secret Service people.
Yeah, that's some level stuff.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Minnesota, has Minnesota ever made a great decision? Yeah. Well, when they no, that can't be it. They're thinking about giving 7.
They decided to put cheese in the middle of a burger. a cheeseburger instead of on top and make the Juicy Lucy.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great idea, but it was a decent idea.
Worked.
It worked. But hey, if you have a functioning society and they start wanting to change your flags and firing you for getting tips and having AI take over and send your data all over to China, remember, the logical solution isn't to go out and vote for Super Tuesday. It isn't to talk about it or make Facebook posts. You gear up, you nut up, and you punch them in the wiener, and you give them a pile driver.
Give them a pile driver.
Give them a pile driver. And that's what we're not telling you to do that for legal reasons, but if you want to save the country, it ain't through the Second Amendment. Just punch them in the wiener, give them a